Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Manhattan Community Board 11 Public Safety and Transportation Committee. This is our February meeting, February the 13th, 2025, and we are beginning at 6, what time is it?
6:36.
6:36. My name is Michelle Wilter Clement. I am the chair of this committee. And before we get started, let us put the ground rules out there. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question of board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, those of you that are online, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair, myself, will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. And members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. And with that, I will ask our staff liaison, Khalid Nixon, to, well, we already did the call to order for the roll call.
Our committee members, so there are 11 members on this committee and 6 are needed for a quorum. Jose Altamirano. Carlos Diaz.
Present.
Pascal Hano.
President.
Wanda Hopkins. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Christina Johnson.
Here.
Jewel Jones.
Present.
Sage Mason. Claudia Perez. Valerie Ponte is here.
Present.
online.
Present.
Valerie, did you fill out a participating qualifying disability form by any chance?
No, it doesn't open up. I gave the information to Michelle on the snapshot. I have to work with you to see what is going to a Gmail. I have AOL.com.
Oh, she sent that.
She did say that she could not open it up. I'm just seeing the text right now. And she did say that she was unwell, that she would be filling out the form.
Okay, so
So
we'll
we'll work on that.
circle back on that one. Okay, Don Sanders. Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Present.
So so you don't have quorum. Since Valerie has not submitted that form, or at least I don't have it. So technically you don't have quorum. If Valerie were acknowledged as present qualifying disability, you would have quorum.
Okay, so let us just take a moment while we get that information back and forth. So let's take that 15 minutes
Recess, yes.
recess beforehand.
What do you want me to do?
And see if you can open it
Say
up.
it again, I muted us, say it again.
I'm going to send you the form again and see if you can open it.
All right.
Okay, and in the meantime, we're going to be taking a break until we can establish your attendance for voting. The recording in progress means that we now have quorum. Do we need to take another roll call? All righty then. Let us continue with the adoption of the February 2025 agenda. If I do not see any hands in opposition, that means that we are unanimously accepting the February 2025 agenda for this day. The adoption of the January 2025 minutes, we will do in another time. They are not complete. And they will be completed next month. Remember, we had 2 of them, yes?
So I do have a correction for the January 16th, I'm marked as absent, I'm excused.
Like I said, it's not complete at all. It's more so just an, oh, for the record, can you change that?
January 16th.
Yes.
Okay, excuse and
Same as on candidate.
okay, Joe.
It's like a year.
We were also in touch with me as well. That was the perfect storm
Yeah.
of days. Okay, and so with the non-acceptance of the
Got it.
January,
You know the button? Yeah, I'm the one. Oh,
of the January 2025 minutes, both of them, part one and part two, we will continue with our announcements. And the first one is to beware of the ongoing OmniCard scam. The OmniCard does not have a $14.95 in retail locations, and monthly are not available with Omni. Hello, full fare customers can purchase an Omni card at retailers for $5 and reload with an amount of their choosing. In addition, reduced fare customers automatically receive an Omni card, including free replacement. To visit the official Omni website to submit any inquiries. There is an email going around with information saying the opposite of what I just said. It is a scam. The submission deadline for nonprofit community-based organizations that wish to apply for discretionary funding for the FY 2026 is Wednesday, February the 19th of this year. It's coming up very soon. And the FY 2026 application is available via apply for FY 2026 discretionary funding. That is, of course, coming from our keynote speaker from this year. More information sent by our keynote speaker was the Manhattan District Attorney High School Internship Program application is now open through March the 12th, 2025. Access the application via, and the website does not look like the same website that I have.
It's in the agenda. Anybody can access the agenda on our.
Okay,
And they can
all right,
click
and if we need to change that website, we will. The Manhattan Borough-based feedback section on the 25-29 capital plan is open to receive public input on priority stations for ADA accessibility improvements. Members of the public can share their priority stations and other comments on the plan, and you can see the website on our website. The 2025 Community Board application to show your passion and become part of the Community Board, or if you need to renew, to file and submit your application by February the 28th. And by using the following Manhattan Community Board application 2025. Make sure you get the right year. You don't want to apply for a past year. And I think that is all of our announcements.
Unless anybody else.
Do we have any other announcements, Carlos?
Oh, yeah, of course. The extra legislative breakfast at the Metropolitan Hospital, as you know, has been moved on to March 6th. We'd love everyone to participate. I had asked the community planning board to disseminate it to all of our members. It's a breakfast at Drexel Hall at 1980 First Avenue on the second floor, community rooms. The community new center, right?
And at your time?
Oh, yeah, and there's a, I got a RSVP. Ms. Gomez, her number is 212-423-8731. We ask you to call us, so you know how. So make sure that, you know, we have enough space for the people to attend.
And can you repeat the date one more time, please?
Yeah, the date is 6 from 9 AM to 11 for breakfast.
Thank you. Do we have any other announcements? All right, let us continue with our informational updates with city agency partners. Do we have any online?
23rd, we have Detective Miguel Rivera.
Hi, yes, good afternoon. This is Detective Miguel Rivera. Hoping everybody's had a good week so far. I'm going to start with giving you some of the 28-day report numbers. And then from there, I'll give you some of the meat and potatoes of kind of what's happened within the confines of the 23rd precinct. For murders, we're the same as last year, 0-0. Rape is 2 versus 1, 2 this year versus 1 last year. Both are the two rapes are from family members, unfortunately, not strangers at all. This year we are up in robberies, 23 compared to 14 from last year. But on a positive note, we do have arrest on most of those robberies. Felony assaults, we're actually down 35%, 20 from this year to 31 of last year. I just want to highlight an unfortunate felony assault that we had. It was 3 teenagers that in short stabbed an individual on 97th Street, a sleeping homeless male. They began to kick him. Then one of the teenagers pulled out a knife and stabbed him several times. The male was removed to Cornell. The 3 teenagers were actually part of a slew of robberies that occurred. One in the 19th, one in the 23rd. But they were apprehended by our patrol officers that same night. So on a positive note, they were apprehended, and I believe that they're going through the process of the court, through the court system. Burglaries were down from 7 this year to 10 of last year. Grand larcenies were up just a slight 28 to 26. And then grand larceny autos were actually down 2 versus 3. Our next community council meeting is at Union Settlement, 237 East 104 at 6 p.m. On Wednesday, February 26th. And that's my report.
Thank you. Can you repeat, you said Wednesday, February, I didn't hear 26?
Yeah, February 26th at 6 p.m. over at 237 East 104.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Detective Rivera?
Just to hit
Yes.
that one male that I spoke about in regards to that felony assault is actually still in critical but stable condition as of right now.
Thank you. Pascal? you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Just to clarify, the event on the 26th is can you repeat what it was?
It's our community council meeting.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The meeting that I hope that one or all of us can attend.
We'll be glad to see you, one or all of you there.
It is disconcerting that the 3 teams had a slew of 3 different assaults. Were in the precinct 19, were these assaults where they were apprehended and released, or they just kept going until they were apprehended finally?
So, just to start in the ninth, well, it was 2 robberies and an assault. Obviously, there is a level of assault with the robberies. In the 19th, he did push the lady and took her cell phone and money. In the 23rd precinct, they did the same to a 62-year-old male, who's actually he's in good condition, just a little shaken up. But we did. So what ended up happening is they started roughly at 10 p.m. in the 19th, then at 11 p.m. in the 2-3 with the second robbery. In between that, traveling from the 19th to the 2-3 is when the teens did the assault on the homeless individual.
Wow.
But they were caught that night, I believe, maybe 40 minutes or an hour after the last robbery.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. I do have I don't know if it would be considered a question. It was brought to my attention that under the overpass, there were individuals that had a van that were using the opportunity, that were people that would go under, that wherever that was covered, they would try and rob people or take their thing, put it into the van and disappear. I just want that as an FYI.
Is there any
Uh,
specific location, or I mean,
This-
we do have a lot of overpasses, obviously over by Park Avenue with the bridge and the just the train as itself there. But are any specific location?
It was between 104th and 109th Street.
Okay, good to know.
Yes. Thank you.
No
Do
problem.
we have questions? And also, I don't even know what color the van was, since it was late at night. People, they didn't mention that, but they were going after people that were anyone.
Okay,
Didn't matter how tall, male, female, weight, it didn't matter.
I'll let our evening patrol officers and supervisors know, just so that they can be aware of anything like suspicious looking in that vicinity there, and the 2-3 as a whole in my eye. So
Thank you. So, since we have no more questions, I would like to thank you for coming and showing up online and giving us your report. I appreciate it. And we all
anytime, have a good evening.
good evening. Thank you. Do we have anyone from the 2-5 or PSA 5?
Yeah, Jaleese, Officer Cosme.
Officer Cosme, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Officer Cosme from the 25th Precinct. First of all, I just want to really thank everyone. We had a great showing at our Coffee with a Cop for everyone that came to meet our new commanding officer. For everyone that doesn't know, we have a new commanding officer. His name is Captain Carrasquillo. And I just once again want to say thank you for everyone that came out to support our event. CB11 was very heavy in the house, and I really appreciate that. So our report for this month, overall, the 25th precinct is down about 12% in crime overall, but we are seeing 2 spikes in 2 specific places, which is what I'm going to speak about. So, the first one is we have had 3 shooting incidents in the past month. Technically in the past week. They all happened within days of each other. So I'll let you know real quick about those. The first one happened on January 23rd at 116 in Lexington. Technically happened in transit, but the call came over on the what we call top side, and that was gang related. The next one occurred on January 27th in the rear of 2120 Madison, around 132 in Madison area. That one was not gang related, unknown what the motive was. It just seemed like an argument between 2 people. And then the third one occurred on January 29th at 130 in Lexington. That one is gang related. All of these shootings, while the shooting itself is unfortunate, the victims are all expected to recover. They were not fatally injured, etc. And no arrests have been made, but they are, our detective squad is working, seems like they are going to make an arrest very soon on all 3 of those cases. And then the last thing I just want to touch on is we are up in burglaries quite a bit. We are up 13 versus 3 at this time this last year. So we're up by 10 burglaries. Most of them have been in residential buildings, which is what is alarming for us. 3 have happened in housing and 7 have happened in the confines of the 2-5 precinct. So we wanna what's the word I'm looking for? We want to credit this to the we do have an open burglary pattern in the 2-5 precinct where there 3 hits have happened in the 25th. And we just want to remind everyone that please make sure, especially if you live in a building, I know it's sometimes hard, but even entering a building, even though they don't enter your residence, is considered a burglary if they commit some other sort of crime like taking property, etc. So just make sure that when you enter and exit your buildings that you are the only person entering and exiting, or that if you're holding the door for someone, you know who they are. Just make sure of that, please. We don't want anyone to get hurt or to get their property taken. Other than that, our next community council meeting is going to be this upcoming Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. back at the 25th precinct. That's 120 East 119th Street. And everyone is welcome to come. And that's it from me.
Thank you. Do
No
you have
problem.
any questions? You're all silent?
I have a I have a question. The burglaries that are happening, are they, is this like a pattern? So that we can tell people what to look for?
And this is
Or it's
Christina
just-
who's talking.
Yes, or is this just random?
So most of them, like I said, out of the 10 that we have, out of the 13, I'm sorry, that we have had, 3 of them are attributed to an open burglary pattern that we have. So only 3 of them are attributed to that pattern. But the rest of them have been residentials. The pattern is is for commercials. Commercial burglary. We've had 3 of them. Residentials, we've had 9 in the past month. So that's where it's alarming. But what we're attributing that to is that especially during this time, mostly around the holidays, but still around this time, people are getting their packages taken in their buildings. So, Amazon might leave the package in front of the mailbox, and then they're getting, someone might come into the building, take the packages. That's considered a burglary in a residential building. But let's say they take 3 packages, that's 3 different people. So we would classify it as 3 different incidences. So our crime prevention is working on getting the word out to our residents and all the residential buildings in the area that they should, make sure that their packages are being delivered to a secure location. And if you are not home, to make sure that it is secured by somebody so it is not taken.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any more questions? Well, I would like to ask a question via the shooting.
Yes.
Were these the same individual? You said that on the 23rd and on the 29th, they were both related by groups. Were these the same groups?
No, 2 separate groups operating on those 2 different shootings. None of these shootings are related to one another.
Is there any age group?
The only one that I specifically know of off the top of my head, and I apologize, and I wasn't prepared for this before, but the one on January 23rd, that one was some youth that were a youth gang that did that shooting down in transit at the 116th Street train station.
I asked because one of our things that we've been trying to do is collaborative policing, where if kids are so bored to be in a group or they need some sort of community to find alternative ways to get them involved in anything
Right.
else besides themselves.
Yes, I completely agree. That group you know, is known to us, and we are doing everything that we can to give them different options. Um yeah.
Okay, thank you, and I
You're
really
welcome.
do appreciate it, and all of us who were able to attend and who weren't able to attend, appreciate the coffee with the cop, and we do welcome the new CO to our neighborhood. He seemed very enthusiastic, and we hope that there are more things where our community can collaborate on.
Awesome. We hope for the same. And I hope that for the next meeting I'm gonna try to get him to personally come on and introduce himself as well.
Thank you, I thought he was gonna be here today.
I know. He had a meeting, but you know, I'm here.
I appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you for giving your update, and we will continue since there are no more questions, but you are always welcome.
Any question online?
Oh, we do have a question online. Hold on.
Okay.
Don't go yet.
I'm here.
Diana, Larrazabal?
Diana, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening,
Unmute-
everyone. Good evening, Officer Cosmates. Diana, how you doing?
Hi.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned that there have been some robberies at businesses.
No, I didn't say
No?
that.
Oh,
No.
I thought you had mentioned it had been at a
Uh,
bit.
I only mentioned that we have an open pattern for commercial burglaries. People who break into a commercial establishment, that is part of the pattern in Manhattan North. It's not just a 2-5 pattern. So we have only had 3 commercial burglaries in the past month. Those are being attributed to this pattern across Manhattan North. Okay.
And does this has been during the day or at night?
I can tell you right now, most of them are happening during the day or being reported during the day. So the problem with the burglary is there's no real way to know exactly when something happened, only when it is being reported. So most of them are being reported on during the day, during the what we call our second platoon, which is 7 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Diana. Is there any other online clue? Okay. So Officer Cosme, you may escape at this particular point. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
And do we have anyone from PSA 5? Do we have anyone from the FDNY?
None that I recognize, nobody here that I recognize.
So I will ask, is there anyone here from the FDNY that we don't know your name but are present online? Without any response, we will continue.
Madam Chair, question. PSA 5 has, that I know, have not ever done any kind of reporting. And they are in a large community, which being happens to be Taino Town. And there's a lot of incidents going on there, and they're just right across the street. And I think that we should send them a letter or reach out to them and let them know that they should report to us, as well as the way the other 2 precincts are doing.
Yes.
So maybe we could reach out to PSA 5, would be great.
Would you like to call them?
No, I'm saying for the next meeting, probably, but I mean, I can call them, but I think someone from
I can
community
take that.
planning would reach out to them.
I can take that job.
I know that I've been here a while. PSA 5.
Okay, well, we have a hand raised.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. Thank you. And let us move to the New York City Department of Transportation.
Oh, hi, Michelle. How's everybody? Rafael,
Hello, we were online and not in person today. Okay.
Rafael Escano, Manhattan Borough Planner from the Manhattan Borough Commissioner's Office. Michelle, I'm sorry, but I know you miss me being here. I mean, being there, sorry.
You're missing the chocolate, my holiday
Yeah.
chocolate. Just
I
want you to
kind
know.
of, I kind of broke my, my record is kind of messed up now. I had a record continuous attendance.
Mhm.
We are also very, very sad and disappointed that we were not able to present the 116th Street bus priority redesigned project. I'm going to stay here, given the fact that you are going to be discussing the Third Avenue, 96 to 128th Street project. So I'll be answering questions that you may have during that discussion, and I will remain active in this conversation as you go along. So right now, I'm just waiting for you to start the conversation on the Third Avenue project.
Okay, and we will probably have questions with the district needs. And
Then I will be able to answer any question you may have, and also to kind of add to the discussion on the things that you are concerned about.
thank you. I appreciate it. Do we have, anyone has any questions in advance? No? Online?
Oh,
With that,
Michelle, I also like to make everybody aware, because we had posted this on the DOT page, and there might be some people online thinking that we're going to be discussing that 116th Street project. So I just want to make sure that they all know that we're going to be discussing because of your desire, the 3rd Avenue, 96, 128th Street project.
we'll be discussing the cross.
Which is also very important.
116th Street redesign next month and not today. It will be on the agenda for next month.
Yes.
Christine?
I have a question, but it's not about this stuff here.
Is it?
It's bus related,
Okay.
it's transportation.
Buses for MTA. Do you mean specifically like an
I feel
MTA?
it the department.
No, but like, we're gonna be discussing how to move a bus stop, right?
That's MTA though. That's not.
That's an MTA function.
Well, we need to get them in here.
Yes, we do.
We really do.
Yes, we do. Okay.
Tell me who to call. All right, thank you.
They were ready to attend for the 116th Street discussion.
It's not gonna happen today. Yeah, not today, next month. All right. So on that, do we have anyone here from the District Attorney's Office of New York? All right then, let us continue moving along. Do we have any public safety transportation advocacy groups?
Let's raise their hands.
No one has raised their hand? Then we will continue with community outreach reports. Okay, we have done a lot of stuff this past month. I know we have. We all, well, I don't know how many of us, but a lot of us went to the coffee with a cop, which was the Tuesday Prince, it was Officer Cosby already spoke about. It was at the Sapaora restaurant, and it had a huge showing of people. He stayed to the actual end of it. Cause I could only get there till the tail end. But it was a very good outpouring of people who just wanted to get more information in a pleasant setting. So I'm glad, and I hope there are more things that happen like that. There are more things that happen like that because at the Carlos, you can explain it better.
Regarding, the meeting at the South. It was a great meeting. I think, we had a great turnout from the community plan, but as well as the community, and I think the captain was very, pleased that the community really came out to meet him and to talk to him about it. And he showed, that he would be available to any, not only individuals, but groups to talk to him about any issues regarding his precinct. And he gave us a brief report of what he's been doing, where he came from, stuff that what he did in the past. And he made mention that, he didn't think that he was gonna get this position, but he got it, but he's now a part of the 2-5, and he was very pleased that we had a great, turnout.
Beautiful, thank you. And Christina, the thing that happened yesterday, was it yesterday?
Oh, at Borican?
Was it
Borican?
yesterday?
Was it
I
yesterday?
don't know.
I don't know. It was either yesterday or the day before, but it was really nice. The new CEO spoke about what his plans are for the neighborhood. I got to meet the COO. And we found out that they have 13, I believe it's 13 dentist chairs and something like 6 dentists on staff, right? Which I thought was pretty cool because you don't find too many places like that, especially not in lower income neighborhoods. They're all brand new. They take everybody and almost every kind of insurance. You can come insured, you can come not insured. They will help you. They also do mental health, physicals,
Talked about the child.
pediatrician, right? Pediatrics, they do pediatrics. So they had a whole host of facilities within the facility, which is really cool. And I think it's a great way to connect with everybody in the neighborhood. You know, not just someone who's on Medicaid or just somebody who's on Medicare or somebody that doesn't have insurance, or has some insurance, because everybody doesn't take everything, which I am learning. But these guys, excuse me, they take mostly all insurances, which is really good. I think it's a great thing for the neighborhood. And they're looking to also do more things in the neighborhood. They also have special activities that they do, special outreach stuff. I've been to a number of their events outside with Anne Marie, who is on one of our other committees. I think she's is she education, I think?
No, she's the chairperson of, permits.
Right.
License and permit.
Yeah, she's chairperson there. So, and she does a really good job. So we should all support her.
I think that because public safety and transportation envelops so much, we can outreach with other committees and collaborate as much as possible, because this are grouped together better. And the more that we get out there and we say, hi, this is who I am, it really helps to bring our community closer and to find out what our community needs. What do we as the community board with our constituents can we bring up to things like district needs? One of the other groups that I went to that I went with, I didn't go at the same time, but I'm gonna bring Jewel Jones up, was React.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yes, I remember we had been so for several years. They have their monthly meeting every second Saturday. This month's meeting was devoted to Black History Month. And they had several individuals that were affiliated with, one was Columbia, the other one's from, I forget what school. But a very good presentation about environmental issues, number one. WEAC is an environmental justice organization in northern Manhattan, services, east, west, central Harlem. Most people think it's central, it's, northern, or west Harlem, but it's, they service everyone. Peggy Shepherd is the co-founder, and she's a force to be reckoned with. When it comes to environmental justice, there was a lot of people there, so it's a good show of people.
I have a question. What is we at?
Oh, sorry. So it's WEAC. It stands for, we act for environmental justice. But there's actually a longer part.
It's a longer part of it.
That's normal.
But the thing that I wanted to highlight the most was one of the speakers had brought up how a lot of interstates, a lot of this movements to go from one place through a place that is like East Harlem and not stop. It's by design. And to have that sort of, yeah, the whole Great Migration, but he did a whole thesis about how places like East Harlem were just meant to just go through and not to stay. And it's across the nation. We want East Harlem to be a place to stay. It is our community. I wanted to make that highlight now. Are there any other community outreach things that happen? Yes.
So at the latter part of the meeting, they did have a whole discussion about just the engaging in terms of the political process. So in terms of district leaders and state committee people and county committee people. So WEAC has an arm that handles that outside of what they normally do. There's a separate arm of WEAC that does more in terms of, the political arm. So there was a big discussion about that, and we should be more involved in terms of district leaders, county committee and state committee as well. So this, that's the other part.
And that was really important because you hear these names and you don't know what it is, and they really gave detailed information. Any online? Please.
Xavier has his hand raised.
Hello, Xavier. You have the floor.
Oh wait, Adam Aponte, he said he had his hand raised earlier, but he put it down.
Adam is not on? Is Adam on?
Yes, but he put his hand down, never mind, so you could recognize.
No, actually, I'm sorry, if I may, I put it down because I thought we were past beyond the subject matter, but if I can have a couple of minutes, that'd be great. Madam Chair?
Oh, okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Dr. Adam Aponte, CEO for the East Harlem Council for Human Services. We run the Borinquen Neighborhood Health Center. So thank you for the shout out and thank you for attending our event on Tuesday evening where we had an event for our community partners. Really appreciate the support. And you know, what's sad about what's being said is that we're almost 60 years old as an organization and the health center is 50 years old. And what's evident to me is that we really need to do more focus around the level of services that we provide in this building on 123rd and 3rd. As it was described, and the way I describe it is we do everything from womb to tomb, prenatal care all the way through the life spectrum on one place, pharmacy, specialty cares, care navigation, health navigation. And so we're happy that we were able to open up our doors, and we intend to do that more often so that folks really get a sense of who we see. And you're quite correct. We see anybody, regardless of their ability to pay, insurance status, immigration status, sexual orientation. We see anyone who walks to our door, and we work with them to make sure they get the primary preventive care services that they deserve. So I just wanted to add that note and just thank you for acknowledging our health center.
Thank you. Your presentation will be happening in probably 10 minutes. Or wait, no, I saw that we have the 9060. No, I don't know exactly when.
Okay, I'll try to hang on with you guys. I am a little pressed for time, but I'll be respectful to your agenda.
Thank you. And do we have any other announcements? You said Xavier was on the line?
Xavier has his hand raised.
Okay, Xavier, you have the floor now.
Michelle and everyone else, thank you. Sorry, I've got a really bad sinus infection. Dr. Aponte, thank you for inviting everyone there. I want to say thank you to the members at the committee who showed up to their event. Glad to get everyone over there, and thank you for being present. With a lot of the community events, we're going to have more coming up this month. And I'll share more of that in the chair report, but been reaching out to several block associations in the southern part of the district who are currently forming and letting them know about our community board applications. I think it's very important that we keep spreading the word through the end of the month when those applications close, and make sure that we're just being out there and present. And I also would say thanks to our housing committee and welcome some of the members from this committee, including Christina Johnson, who welcomed us into Lexington Houses. Thank you so much. Really making momentum and really shining a light on all people in this community and our housing needs, as well as how it pertains to public safety. So I just want to say thank you for being out there to all of the committee members.
Thank you. Thank you. Didn't say that happened, Christina Johnson. That is outreach.
I'm not throwing her under the bus, just so it's clear. I'm just saying thank you. She was very magnanimous and wonderful host bringing us through. Thank you, Christina.
Beautiful. And do we have any other people that would like to express themselves about community outreach? Silence? All right. Now we are going to presentations and discussions, more so discussion right now with the DOT's proposed street redesign of 3rd Avenue between 96 and 128th Street.
What?
Discussion. We need to talk about it.
See that?
What?
Can I see that?
Yeah, sure. It's not the whole thing, I just do the highlights for myself. Okay. So we had a presentation, but we also have what we would like to happen between 96 and 128th and 3rd Avenue. To iterate, we have the bus lanes and the bike lane. The bike lane beside on the west side of the street, and the bus lane on the east side of the street. Not necessarily all the way to the curb, but there would be parking before. You all remember that? Our homework, actually put it to y'all this time, because I was like, y'all are not babies. I'm not going like, okay, this is your homework each time. But the homework was to go and look at 3rd Avenue to say, okay, this part needs a left-hand bus turn. This part needs a place for pedestrians to have a potted cement plant so that it would not be, the pedestrian would be pummeled over by whatever car that's making a turn. Yes,
But didn't we have a discussion about them doing daylighting on these corners?
that's what daylighting is.
Right, okay, so whatever
But we want to be more specific with the Department of Transportation, right, Raphael? So that as a community board,
Yes, you're right, Michelle.
we want to be as specific as possible.
Some of your concerns were related to the daylightings location, as well as was the islands, pedestrian island that
Pedestrian islands, we didn't
right, the
want to have these
pedestrian.
little plastic things because those look bad within a week. They're moved over by the cars, just like how at 117th Street with the little bump. It doesn't work. To have something that's solid, preferably a beautiful cement planter that would add resilience also to the area and beautify the area with greenery would be the best thing.
Oh, absolutely. Those comments and, reflecting your concerns were very much included in the modification of the plan. Those plans, those painted area are going to be done with concrete, as you have indicated. So
Concrete planter.
is that's what you wanted, right?
Concrete planters.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, okay. We will continue with the discussion. Christina, you had a question?
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you
Well,
very
she
well.
didn't say- Oh,
I
we're
was-
just continuing to discuss. So I'm gonna put you on mute again. We're just trying to like figure out, we're having a discussion, trying to figure out, what we want. Cause we didn't really discuss in depth what we wanted. So this is the time when we have our particulars. And I'm getting silence and this looks like, really?
Okay, I am biased by all of this. I really am because I am a driver, right? And I'm noticing more and more around this city, there's no respect for drivers at all, right? And I get it. There's a lot of accidents, people getting hit, but stay yourself out the street. People are
That's right.
walking in the street when they shouldn't be walking in the street. The light is green. You walking in
right.
the middle of the street, you stopping in the middle of the street to look at your telephone. I mean, there's so many issues, but I'm finding the city is taking away from those of us who have cars. Parking is at a premium now, right? And now that we have congestion pricing, people are parking in our neighborhoods, which cuts down more on parking, right? And I'm a person that, for me, my car is my freedom, right? I've been assaulted on a train, so I will never, ever, ever, ever get on that thing again, ever. I will ride a bus though, because I need to see. So I will ride a bus. But my car is my freedom. And I think a lot of people feel that way. Their car is their freedom. It allows me to get up and go and come when I feel an urge to do so. But now it's putting me in a position where I'm paying for a car and insurance is like sky high, gas is sky high, and I can't go. I can't go because there's no place to park, you know? So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit biased by this. I've watched you guys change the whole traffic pattern on Lexington Avenue. It is horrendous. And it's horrendous. I'm sorry. It is. And it's been changed like 3 times in the last year. So it went from 3 lanes to 2 lanes to 1 lane, and then it went back to 2 lanes. I mean, it's just back and forth, and I understand why people get hit. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows whether I can cross the street or can't cross the street. Is the light turning red? Is that turning red?
I just wanna make a thing that it's more so from not Lexington.
I know, it's from
from
96th
the
Street
east.
to 128th Street. I got that on 3rd Avenue. But I've watched what they've done already. So I don't have any faith in what they are proposing to do is going to be any better than what they've done on Lexington Avenue or what they have done on 86th Street and 3rd Avenue down.
Mhm.
So they've created those bike lanes. People still getting hit with bikes. It didn't change nothing. They created those little sun things that they put on the corner. It took away parking. People still standing all over the place. People still getting hit. So it hasn't changed anything. Only thing it did was take away parking. So now, instead of, and I know people are not supposed to double park, but instead of people being able to double park, we're now triple parked in the street because you got a bike lane, you got a bus lane, you got a parking lane. There's only like 3 or 4 parking spots on the block. So now people are double parking in order to run in the store and pick up a package, to wait to pick somebody up. So now traffic is backed up. And that is the same exact thing that is going to happen to us up here.
Well, right now, let's put it this way. On Third Avenue, where that construction site is happening.
You talking about right here, like 110, 111, somewhere over here?
Where's the place
On
that
Third
they-
Avenue?
there's a
Yeah, because
building
now
that-
you gotta move
There's
over
a building that's going
the,
up,
yes.
and they keep moving it where they're taking one lane to
Yeah.
2 lanes.
Mhm.
On the other side, there's double parking usually. And so there might be 2 lanes of traffic. Which is what will happen soon. But, and it slows down traffic to not just. The 15 miles per hour, which is what.
Oh, no, we're down to 10 miles
that
an
is-
hour now.
Which is supposedly what is wanted in the city, as opposed to 30 miles an hour is wanting to be 15 miles an hour, according to the traffic light. How the traffic lights are moving.
Yeah, the lights are not working on Third Avenue now.
But they're working to keep it as slow as possible, but however. We have people that do speed, but they're speeding because they're going through traffic lights.
Right.
What we need to do, and I understand your frustration, but we need to find a way to work with DOT at this particular point. Why? Because we do not want it to happen without our input.
Mhm.
Because if we just throw it all out and say we don't want it, and then they come and do everything that we don't want, when we could have had some input to change some things. I think we should take that moment and make that happen. And I know your frustration, because I do not want to be going 10 miles, 8 miles an hour and be late for work, which I have been because of the things that are happening on Third Ave. How can we work with DOT? And still maintain the quality of our community and not have asthma increases because traffic is moving so slowly
That is backing up everywhere.
that it backs up and creates more of a health hazard in
Mhm.
our community. I do not want that to happen.
So, question, do they have a study that shows the
Yes, yes, Christina.
thank you.
The presentation, the two times, I think it was 3 times that we have discussed that with the board. All of the things is based on data. Safety data, speed data, all this that went into the presentation, the previous presentations, is based mainly on data. And that is the
Right,
reason,
Look at
yes.
that now, take a look at it now, I have it with her.
Valerie, want the answer handlers?
Valerie, you have the floor.
I just wanted to say that the last meeting and discussion we had about this, the people that were present were complaining about, one man said we shouldn't even have cars in the neighborhood. I think everybody that was there remembers that. The other guy told us about his sister being hit or brother being hit, and he didn't even live in New York. I disagree also there. This is not going to help anything. I don't believe it. This design, it's the traffic. You only give 2 lanes for the traffic that's going uptown and further. It's too much. The island, the bike lane, where the people can park on the other side of the island, it's too much, in my opinion. You got to figure out something else.
What
And
would
there's no
you,
parking. There's no parking. Anybody that came there tonight, I said, like I said before, 118th Street, right, there's a gate there. Before you make the right-hand turn to come down, come up to the office. $400 a month. Everything is changing for these new buildings going up, and who wants to live in them? And it's not us.
They're
Thank you,
also
Beth.
putting new parking meters in the neighborhood, and the price has gone up on them. You know, the city is literally pricing the middle to low income people out of the neighborhood.
Exactly.
And I think this
hold on a second,
is going to make it worse.
Point of order, Michelle,
yes.
I would ask or recommend that we keep our comments and our questions germane to the actual project. Do you have any recommendations for DOT regarding the design?
This
Where you
design.
would like certain safety features to be placed along the corridor, not speaking about, yes, you can speak about, well,
Right,
you know,
I
there's
got
gonna be a loss of parking here. Is it possible to, like, you know, mitigate, you know, instead of 3 to 5, maybe lose 1 to 2 parking spaces, and if anything, can we shorten a little bit the pedestrian islands if you want to consider that argument? But that's what I would recommend we keep our suggestions to.
Thank you, Delaney.
To the Third Avenue redesign, and I've made the PDF available for all of you,
Mhm.
and it's also available on the website. Anybody can take a look at it. And then as you drive along Third Avenue, you can suggest that we think that this might be more feasible here. We think that instead of 1 parking lane, there should be 2 parking lanes here, et cetera, so forth. Those kind of recommendations would be helpful, so we can submit that to Raphael.
Thank you.
Okay. When-
Kelly, I wasn't able to hear you very well.
He said to work with you.
Sorry, Raphael, I was suggesting our committee just keep the suggestions specific to the design of the project and where certain, like the toolkits, or at least the items that DOT uses in its toolkit, where, you know, what's more appropriate for certain segments along Third Avenue. I know that Angel at one point brought up that there is an FDNY station along the segment, and determining what would be best in terms of a parking lane, angle parking, et cetera, so forth like that. So that's what I was just trying to suggest my committee do.
We have been in conversation with NYPD as well as the fire department. So that's a conversation that is going, and they very much aware of our proposal. So
Excellent.
I got you.
Thank you, Raphael.
Thank you, Raphael. Hold on a moment, please. Pascal?
Thank you. As you were saying, Nicola, I was on the page where they mentioned the left turns, the parking that you'll take, 4 to 5 spaces. And my thought was just, that seems a bit excessive. Is there any way to shrink that? And then I see also at the bottom of your presentation, you have like data on intersections with like left turns with the most, I guess. What number, I guess, how are you determining which ones? Like, is there a certain number above like maybe 75? You're like, oh, we'll put a left turn parking lane here. Like, what's the threshold to determine where you need to put that?
There were 3 different sections for the left turns. One was 90. Christina, see, can I have my?
I'm sorry, yes.
Raphael, that question was for you.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I guess at first you can answer about the 4 to 5 parking spaces for left turns.
Those are due to daylighting. Something that was discussed during our last meeting.
We had the left turns with the 106th, 116th, and 125th Street.
Yes.
We had added that because we as a committee had added that because we felt that those were the ones that were, people that had most injuries. And that's why we added that particular thing.
Right.
So it's only.
And that was something that's
For the most,
obviously based on the data. And that was the very important items that was discussed during that meeting. Obviously, that was brought up by Michelle, and that was very much taken into account in going back to the drawing board and make sure that that will be implemented as well.
This
So-
was under the response to community feedback, please.
So I understand the three that we recognize, but is there an additional intersections that they recognize that they'll put it there?
Raphael, are there any additional ones that the DOT has recognized as being a hardship? Or
Well,
those
we
are
have,
the,
I got some information regarding the parking spaces on 97th Street. That will be for daylighting. That will be 1 to 2 parking spaces that will be eliminated there. And obviously that is based on the safety data that has been collected in the past, leading to what we been talking about, pedestrian safety. So
okay. That was not the, that's part of the question, thank you, that was from a previous time, but Pascal is asking specifically, are there any other targeted spots that are where buses turn that would receive that sort of decrease in parking spaces, as in daylighting in those areas?
I don't have those detail with me, but I can really find out later with the
Okay.
team.
Okay, thank you.
If you could just make a notation and make sure that I get it in the email as well.
Okay. All right, so let us just look at, yes,
When incorporating these left-hand turns, are they also going to have left turn signals?
It's in the presentation.
It is in the
yes, the
presentation.
buses have their own signals.
So this is a dedicated bus lane only, the left turn.
No, so the left turn, you'll see, right? The buses, they're going to be running along the east side, right?
Yes,
I myself, I don't take the bus, so I can't advise, but I don't know.
Right, it
what
goes
the
straight
buses-
up, it goes straight up to 125th Street,
And
so
then it makes a left onto 125th?
I don't think it goes. No.
Are there any buses that make a left?
Oh,
off
yes,
Avenue?
116, the 10,
102,
102, yeah,
and
116,
125th.
right, and
Okay.
125th.
Okay,
And
remember,
those are the same three that we suggested
Right,
to be safer.
right.
right, so Raphael, and then in this presentation, it'll show you that they have left turns.
Oh, that, it was right above, it was right there.
Sorry, where am I going?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought
that
it
left turn will be on 125th Street. That's something that they're working on, making sure that that intersection will not have such a an impact on this fireman station there.
Understood. And then for the left turn signals, just answer your question, Christina, yes, they will have protected signals.
Yes, they call it Q.
Yes,
That's so it enables the bus to kind of get a head start at that particular intersection.
So would other drivers be able to also make that left turn or just buses?
It would just be the bus. It
Just
would
be
a
the bus.
delay, like how there's delayed
Right,
in
okay.
systems for pedestrians to walk and then the
Right.
cars go.
Got you.
That's what would happen.
Mhm.
And we will have the
Okay.
pedestrian island as well, so it'll make easier to cross the intersection and
Mhm.
safer, I must add.
Sorry about turning buses.
Okay, this is the page that I'm looking at specifically as well. What I wanted to find out, to bring up in discussion was the angle parking. And to have. Like, you know how, yes, the bike.
That would be for, that's currently is being
Wait,
used by,
Raphael, hold on, let me finish
oh,
my
I'm sorry.
thought.
I can hear you very well.
To have the bike lane sort of meander a little bit, but not to have a bike lane all the way at the curb. It's not always the best thing, and they don't always stay there, at least in our neighborhood. To move like how the bus lane is out, to have it out one lane just for 2 blocks. Where the angle parking is, where our NYPD and the FDNY are, and then to go back into the,
Mhm.
The regular park.
By
Right,
the
got
curb.
you.
Is that a possibility? I would like to put that out there.
Well, that actually the angle parking there by NYPD and the fire department is illegal. They do
I
have.
know, I know you said that it was illegal,
No, no, wait,
however.
no. Let me explain. Let me
Go
explain.
ahead.
But they do have the authorized vehicle only there. So what we are planning on is to allow them to park or to provide the authorized parking vehicle on the side street. So that's the kind of conversation we have had with the 23rd precinct as well as the fire department.
Thank you.
I have to,
I remember you had mentioned that, however.
we have met with them as well.
What I'm trying to bring up is that the amount of cars that are parked at an angle do not equal the spaces on the side streets. In other words, there will be an overflow to more and more and more side streets, and therefore reduce the availability to people that do not have authorized vehicles. And my proposal to this committee was, is there a way to have the biking lane moved out just for 2 or 3 blocks and then move back in? So that it could accommodate the cyclists as well as the angle parking. That was my proposal.
I hear you.
Because it doesn't make sense to lose so much. And they will be parking that way anyway,
Mhm.
so that cyclists can have space as well as everybody else in our community, that it's not going right through the community.
I have a question.
Christina?
Okay, since Michelle brought up angle parking, right? In order to accommodate all the new lanes and changes on the right side of Third Avenue, could we change that to angle parking? Cause there are some blocks where,
I think they discourage angle parking, especially if there's a protected bus lane. It's like you're
Yeah,
something
right.
about it safer.
really?
It'll be
And the
kind
bus
of
lane is
dangerous.
exclusively going to be on the right side of the opening, going all the way up.
Right.
So that's
So my thing was just on the west side of the street.
So,
Not
okay,
where the bike lane was.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
we
not where-
can't do
I'm sorry,
it-
Not where the bus lane is.
all right, so we can't do it on Third Avenue, right? But what about in the blocks, right? So you have 104th Street. On one side, the right side, there is angle parking, right? How about on 99th Street, right, the other side of Washington, houses. Why can't that also be, angle parking?
That is thinking outside the box, thank you.
And then you have,
99th Street between what avenues?
Second and Third. So there are some side streets that are larger than most neighborhood streets. Is it possible that some of them can be turned into angle parking? And this way it could alleviate some of the congestion?
99, and what was the other one? 104?
Well, 104 is already,
Right, well, it's
Angle.
already angle parking there, but you
Oh,
also
okay.
have 12 has angle parking, what's the other side of one? Right, 123rd has so there are a few blocks that do have angle parking where there is space enough for it. So is it possible that you guys could look at other blocks that could also do angle parking?
and that would
Yes,
alleviate.
I think we could do that simultaneously while we consider the Third Avenue. I can bring it up for discussion, internal discussion, and I'm not sure. Right.
Hold on.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Go ahead,
I think
Carl.
another area we should look at, and it's been abusive in East Harlem, especially with the PSA 5 area, 124th Street. They got angle parking just for them. Then you have 123rd Street, that have angle parking just for them
Yeah.
on the side of Taino Towers. I mean, it's ridiculous. People cannot park in that area because of the abuse of, I would say the police department, they're the ones who has the permit just about halfway down the block. And that's something that we should look into, because it's an area where if we could move the fire department into the block, there'll be areas there they could probably take advantage of. But right now, it's being used only by the PSA 5 is taking 2 blocks of angle parking. And the last I read in the Department of Traffic was they were supposed to get X amount of parking. They have literally about 20 to 30 parkings between those 2 blocks. And that is excessive, and I think we should look into that a little bit more.
And that's what I'm trying to avoid happening.
Right, but if you're gonna take Third Avenue and eliminate with the fire department, because that whole section is just for the fire department.
Mhm.
No one else can park in that area.
But
Move it
let-
up,
I
back
like
block.
I like to highlight the following. The bike lane is a protected bike lane, and it's protected by the parking lane. So we're not losing that many parking space on Third Avenue. Because while we build the bike lane, we are not getting rid of other cars that might have otherwise been parked there. They will be parked right on the travel lane, which is the protected lane that will protect the bike lane. Am I being understood here?
Yeah.
Oh, Raphael, you are understood, however.
So the parking
Wait,
issue,
Raphael,
yes,
or you are understood, however, angle parking increases the amount of cars that can be in the same space. As opposed to.
no angle, there will be no angle parking on Third Avenue. It's not possible.
Yeah,
plan-
it
You have it
is.
now.
We have it now.
But the fire department is.
No, but even on 102 and 103,
102nd,
there's
yeah.
one block there that is
That's all
angle
I know.
Oh, you
parking.
no, you mean,
No,
You-
what Raphael,
I'm saying that's illegal.
he's saying that it's illegal.
Yeah, but you still have the
Okay.
line, so somebody.
It's not the fire department.
And NYPD.
It's not. The following block is angle parking. It's regular.
currently,
Right.
But on 99th Street.
No, on Third Avenue between 102 and 103, that one block right there on the left-hand side, because I used to go to the nail salon there.
We're cross talking at this point, I don't know if they could hear us properly,
It's-
but that is according to Raphael, it is illegal to
Right,
park as,
they could
however,
park,
it has been done and accepted for as long as I've been in this neighborhood, which is decades. Pascal, you have a question or a comment?
I forgot, sorry, Chair.
Okay, sorry.
There's someone online, member of the public, so.
We're not really ready to get to the members of the public at this particular point. I just wanted to make sure that we had our say. Pascal, you remembered, great, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, I do think the bike lanes do take up parking no matter how you look at it. I get how it's supposed to work in theory, it's supposed to make things safer, for sure. We do have bike lanes on 2 adjacent avenues, Second and First. And there's none again until Fifth Avenue. What if we can make the bike lane shorter instead of going all the way from 96 all the way up to the Third Avenue Bridge? Maybe go from the Third Avenue Bridge to 125th. And then, I mean, the bikers can go over to either, well, directly they'll be going downtown, most likely. They'll go to Second Avenue, just 1 block over. I mean, that's a concession that we can make if we wanted to.
Khalid, can you put number 7 there, page 7?
Page 7. Actually, I can't even tell what.
There are no page numbers, however, I can.
Okay, yeah, 1 second. Right here?
The safety of the bike lane, number 7.
Safety benefits. are
Safety,
protected by
safety benefits of the
that,
bike lane.
however,
Above it, the slide above. Yeah, we're not questioning
we're
that.
not
Right there,
questioning
right
that.
there.
That is not the question. That's not the question.
Oh, that was not a question?
No.
No, I totally agree with this. Bike lanes do make things safer for bikers, but at the same time, parking is an issue here. And it's only getting worse, as Christina pointed out. So my proposal was just trying to make a concession where, sure, we can have the bike lane up until like 125th, from Third Avenue Bridge to 125th, and they could go over to Second Avenue and use the protected bike lane that already exists. And
It goes south, it doesn't go up down.
then they could go over to First Avenue, which is another block over, and they could go up. But you're not going that far after that. You're just going onto the bridge maybe. Or yeah, the Triborough, no, it's not the Triborough. The First Avenue, Willis Avenue Bridge, I think that's it.
To Willis Avenue.
Yeah.
It's the Willis Avenue Bridge. So what we're going to do at this particular point is think about, write what we said down. And give this to the DOT. These are our suggestions as a community board for public safety and transportation. Okay? Yeah, Jill Jones.
This timeframe that this is considered.
The timeframe on.
Michelle,
What is the timeframe?
is that a question?
Yeah, what's the timeframe for all of this and,
The
In terms of-
timeline, you say?
Yes,
Yeah, we would like to be implementing this in the summer, but you have questions and we are responsible to go over them and make sure that we do the right thing by the community board. Now, you have suggestion as you have expressed right now. Put it in writing and please send it to me by tomorrow, so perhaps we could make another meeting with you on the Third Avenue. Is that something that you will like in the future?
well, as you heard that we have a lot of concerns, so we will write it down and get it to you.
Yes.
ASAP.
If we need
And-
to meet again on this, in this issue, we meet again. That's not a problem.
Okay, thank you. And so now we are opening up this discussion for 5 minutes, not long, with the public. You said there was someone online.
Diana, go ahead, you had a question?
Yeah. Hello? Hi, this is the first time I'm in the meeting and I heard about this project. I actually joined the meeting regarding the 116 bus. So, since you guys are talking about the Third Avenue, I was wondering, would there be a possibility to have areas for, like parking areas for people that do delivery? Like, there's on 116th Street by Wendy's that a lot of people gathered there, and they'll be parking at the sidewalk, and there'll be nights that you even see like 10 bikes like at a time. Also,
It's
like
part of
around,
the design.
also on 108 and Third Avenue, there will be a lot of bikes parking on the sidewalk. The same as by the McDonald's on Third Avenue. I think it's on 103rd, 104th. So do you
Okay.
think there'll be a possibility to have parking areas for them?
For commercial parking. Correct, Diana?
I'm sorry?
You,
Just for commercial.
for commercial parking for designated times, you're requesting us to add to our communication to DOT, 108, 116, and the McDonald's either 103rd, 104th, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commercial parking for the people that do the delivery.
Well, we have,
Thank you. I got it.
we have in our toolbox what you call it the neighborhood loading zones, which is something that has been very much promoted. But you know, you could add that to the list, Michelle, and please send it to me as soon as possible so I can start the ball rolling with the units spearheading this project, and we'll be able to meet again if we
Thank
need to.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to add one other thing. Raphael, about 3 months ago, we spoke about the replacing of the curve on 106th Street and Fifth Avenue. It is gone completely. There's nothing there right now. So if we could put them back up or put something a little sturdier, it'd be great. Remember the one on 106th and Fifth Avenue that we had where they were making the left turn into going east?
Uh-huh,
We
right.
had those 5 plastic they're no longer there anymore. They're gone. So we need to put
106 and
some.
Fifth Avenue. What part of the
106.
intersection? I don't recall.
You don't recall?
No, I'm so sorry.
It's on the north or the south side of the street?
It's on Fifth Avenue making the left going east. So yeah,
Okay.
you're going.
Okay, got it.
Remember we talked about it, we even emailed
Yes.
it, I even took a
Mhm.
photograph.
So on the southeast corner,
Well, in the middle of the block, there's one going south and one going west. When you make, when they turn on 106 and Fifth Avenue going east, there was 3 or 4 pillars that, when they made the turn, they knocked them all out. It doesn't exist anymore, so it's gone completely.
so it's dangerous for the pedestrians.
For the pedestrians, for sure. There's nothing there.
Okay. Making note of it.
Thank you, Carlos.
So,
Eric?
thank you.
Eric?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just want to maybe follow up on your suggestion about angle parking, and my concern is that if you have the angle parking, the bike lane and the moving car, it's gonna be very unsafe for the cyclist, because my experience is that you can't see, through the windows whether there is a driver in the car about to move or not, and having to worry with that, someone that may be coming out of the parking while you have the moving cars on your right is very unsafe, very frightening. We have a situation where we have, the curb, the bike lane, and angle parking, for example, on Central Park West. So would this not be, adopted here also in this context, even to the extent of, maybe reducing the bike lane width, but at least make sure that, the bike lane is protected by the park car, whether they are in parallel parking or angle parking. I think I would add to that suggestion because
Repeat.
my suggestion would be.
I can't picture it, that's why I need you to repeat.
If for the blocks, where there's a NYPD, FDNY, you would like to propose that DOT maintain angle parking or create legal angle parking space.
Yes, but
That we still maintain the bike lane by the curb. So the curb, the bike lane, and then the angle parking. Because my experience is that when you bike along angle parking, you can't see through the cars whether there's a driver, so you could always get surprised at the last second by a car moving out of this parking space. And at that moment, you will be between the parked car moving and the moving lane, so it's very unsafe for drivers.
But I just wanted to, where is the example that you have
So on
on the
Central
website?
Park, so on Central Park West, I think the first two blocks on Central Park West, you have the setting of the curb, the bike lane, and then the angle parking.
Okay, I'm gonna go take a look to see how that.
By the
is working out.
Trump Tower.
I think that's, that's Trump Tower.
Yeah, that's by the Trump Tower.
Should do something that we.
Okay, maybe they did something illegal there also, but the setting is.
But I would like to, I would personally like to go and take a look to see
It's
what
just
that
like
looks
between,
like.
between
the safety of
60 and 62nd, I believe, on Central Park West.
60 and 62nd, right?
Just by the Trump Tower.
Right by congested pricing, beautiful. Pardon,
I see it.
CB8, yeah,
I see words.
thank you, Pascal,
You pulled
I
it
see
up?
it, yeah. I see what he's saying. That could work,
can you show it?
sure.
If you go there, you should take a look at the lines on the ground. I know that people are not parking on the lines, but I don't know if they might just be squeezing.
So I think it's
cars
also the
in there.
NYPD made something.
I will say that bike lane is also smaller than what they're projecting.
Yeah, no,
As
it
well,
would come
yeah.
at the expense of a wide bike lane, you would have to narrow it to accommodate under parking, but my point is that
But it's better to have a bike lane than no bike lane.
I would rather have a reduced size bike lane by the curb than
And where's
being
the
stuck
bike
between
lane?
the angle parking and.
But it's the,
Well, we're gonna agree.
because the cars are coming out this way, I'm gonna.
A biker.
Someone said that the bike lane is narrower? Is that what I heard?
It's a little narrower, we'll send you a picture, Well, it will be with what we
I
said
think that
another time.
What I'm talking about with the people not parking on the lines is make it narrower.
No.
For whatever. reason.
No, that's
Trump
what-
Tower people have
They
decided.
have a standardized one, it's a standardized size according to the transportation agency, that is the Federal Transportation Agency. And sometimes you see wider bike lane is because they have two directions. But the one direction only, they always have that standardized width.
Okay, thank you. So, on that note, let us move on. It's good to have discussions. For. these
So
particular-
Michelle,
Is it fast?
a
just-
suggestion,
Hold on, Raphael, can there's one more
I
suggestion.
think that it actually, according to the lines, it's not actually a smaller bike lane, but. Like, if you look at the satellite photo here, you can see that people are just
Parking or whatever.
not parking right on the lines and they park closer into the bike lane. I don't know why, because there's a full spot.
In other words, it would need
Spot that
it would
they're
need a
given.
little barrier.
Yeah, to make sure they don't back up.
Does it back up too
Well,
much?
that
That
could
would be the
work, yeah.
solution, okay. Quick solution. And Raphael?
no, I just wanted to ask you if you could put what we have discussed tonight, sort of like a list of the things that you have mentioned as your concerns. I'll be able to bring it up tomorrow to a discussion. We're gonna have a meeting. And if I can have it, as early as possible, that means, maybe today, I'll get to the office tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and we're gonna have a meeting, usually a staff meeting at 10 o'clock, and I can bring it up.
Okay, well, we'll try, but I don't know about today. But we'll try our best.
Thank
Okay,
you,
Raphael?
thank you.
And now, please stay on the line because we do have questions for the district needs that happen later on.
He might not be able to assist with that.
Oh, then forget it.
That's a committee centric item.
Okay, so now we will continue. Thank you, everyone, for this extremely important discussion. of an interstate through our neighborhood.
You-
do we?
I could stay in if you like.
Okay, so a request has been made by Puerto Rican, am I mispronouncing
East
that?
Harlem Council for Human Services. Borinquen.
Borican
Health Center.
Neighborhood Health Center to relocate the M103 bus stop from Third Avenue between 120th and 121st Street to its previous location between 122nd, 123rd Street. And who is giving this presentation?
I guess, Dr. Ponte, you still on?
Yes, good evening. I am. So thank you very much for entertaining my request. You know, as I shared earlier, we do have the health center on 123rd and 3rd, and you know, I've been there for approximately 5 years, but I've learned from many of our patients and community members that previously there was a bus stop located between 122nd and 123rd. That was where the bus stop of the M103 bus stopped. Some time ago it was moved, several years ago it was moved to 120th and 121st. It's not clear as to why the bus stop was moved, but what has been clear based upon my patients and community members who have approached me about this was the inconvenience that represents to them, particularly the patients that attend the health center. So many of them rely on public transportation. And now they're forced to sort of get off the bus with walkers, you know, canes, some actually in wheelchairs, several blocks away from the health center. And that has been a hardship for many of the patients that come to the health center. In addition, I think we all know that the old location was right in front of Taino Towers, a building that houses over 650 apartments, I think over 1,000 individuals that also rely on public transportation, particularly the bus. And so on behalf of those patients and those community members, the East Harlem Council for Human Services is requesting a consideration that bus stop be relocated to its original location between 122nd and 123rd Streets for the reasons that I have indicated earlier. And so that's the ask. Again, it's not clear to anybody who I spoke with as to the rationale why the bus stop was moved in the first place. It had been there for many, many, many years prior to it being moved. And so it was never clear to folks. Maybe there are people on this committee who are privy to the reason that it was moved originally. You know, this is a big thing that we focus on in healthcare now. Transportation is a big barrier to access to care. And we want to make sure that individuals can gain access to care, particularly those of us who rely on buses. And many of my seniors in particular rely on buses for many reasons, including safety reasons. And so we would like consideration and perhaps a push to get that bus stop relocated back to its original location.
Thank you. Now we have, so your ask is for a letter of support, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm asking for more than just that. So how do we escalate this issue to the proper individuals who would then address it? And so our first stop here is to this committee to sort of get support from this committee. And then perhaps there may be individuals, and Raphael, maybe it sounds like you may be a person that would perhaps help us understand how do we now escalate this further to get it considered and acted upon.
This is an MTA request and
Yeah.
not a Department of Transportation, which Raphael is part of the Department of Transportation. What we
Got
can
it.
provide for you at this particular point is a letter of support. And that would go to the different stakeholders that would be able to.
Well, Madam Chair, we definitely need a letter of support, but we also need to see if we could put it back because we were never told the reason why it was moved. And we were moved by MTA without, that I know of, because I live in Taino Towers, that they were gonna move it and then bring it back. What they usually do that they move it, if people forget about it, and it becomes a non and void issue, and then it becomes a permanent. We just wanted to come back to 123rd on 123rd and 122nd Street on Third Avenue, the M1030.
It might have just been an oversight.
But I'm saying, it could have been an oversight, but the fact is, if we don't do anything about it, it's gonna remain there. And the request that they're asking is that our seniors are walking 3.5 blocks, when they used to walk less than a half a block to get to the health center. And the people that live in Taino Tower, 650 tenants that live in these buildings are having issues as well. So as a tenant, I'm, one of those tenants now that it's a hardship walking 2.5 blocks just to get to home, and especially the elderly that are in wheelchair. I'm not a wheelchair, but I'm walkers.
Walkers.
Dr. Aponte,
Yes,
where is the bus stop currently?
it's currently on between 121st and 120th Street.
Now, this function, I mean, this is a function of the MTA. I think that if you need a letter of support, Michelle will know how to channel it to.
Okay.
This committee can opt to vote to provide a letter of support and submit it to the MTA, and along with submitting a request to to relocate the stop. And either they say, yes, we can do it, or no, for XYZ reasons, and we can have MTA invite them to come in and, talk to the committee and explain in depth why this decision was made. Usually we get bus relocation requests just in office, and we submit the request to MTA and they let us know. We moved it here because, this other demographic or group had issues and we tried to make it more fair, or there was like a traffic conflict or something of that nature. So if this committee wants to opt to vote to provide a letter of support and inquire with MTA, we can definitely do that.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
we've heard the presentation, however, it has been brought up previously by Carlos. It wasn't a full discussion, but it was brought up as well. It was brought up by Carlos in full board. So we've heard tidbits of this along the way. Are we, because it's not just today, but we've heard about it a few times, can we make a decision tonight on this topic? Can I hear a motion?
I make a motion to write a letter of support for Borican to have a letter sent to Mapstower in support of moving the bus stop from East 120th, 121st on 3rd to East 123rd, 122nd on 3rd Avenue.
But not only for Rican, but also for a friendly amendment, but also.
Taino Towers.
Thank you.
Just for simplicity's sake, I'm saying a motion made by Christina Johnson to write a letter of support requesting that the MTA relocate the M103 bus stop from 3rd Avenue between 124th and 121st Streets to its previous location, 122nd and 123rd Street.
Yes, thank you.
And it's seconded by either Jewel Jones or, Jewel Jones.
One second.
I'm.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes, I'm gonna call.
Can you do a roll call?
Unless you wanna take knowledge, Carlos, or?
Yeah, I have to be present, not voting, because I happen to be a board member at Boddington.
I'm gonna, okay, can we do a roll call?
Okay, so. And then Carlos, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So Carlos is present not voting. You'll need 5 then, so I guess 3 in order for this motion to pass, since Carlos not voting. Okay. So not calling Carlos, Pascal Hano?
Or.
You said support.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Christina Johnson,
Support.
Jewel Jones,
Yes.
Valerie Ponzi,
Yes.
and Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Absolutely.
Motion passes unanimously.
Madam Chair, I'd like to thank the board for the consideration of this issue, and we hope that we'll be able to be successful in our discussions with MTA.
Thank you. It helped to actually go and see where the bus stop was and to meet you and see. It's great that your doors were open. And it made it more of a community to make this happen this night.
We plan to keep them even wider open for the whole community. So thank you very much, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay, and now moving forward with, oh, great.
So I'll make this quick. All right, so, Jessica has her hand raised.
Jessica who?
Elliot?
Oh, Jessica Elliott, you have the floor.
Hello, I was just going to offer some support for this category. Just to let you all know, we have we're working on simultaneously the statement to the preliminary budget documents, which will be finalized next Wednesday for our meeting and voted on, and then voted on again at executive to meet the budget timelines. We are also in alignment with that, working on the narrative, which the entire committee is working on. They have each been assigned different policy areas, so they will be reaching out to the chairs and vice chairs and members of different committees in order to help refine our statement to reflect the goals of each committee. So I would just wanted to point out that the statement and the effort for tonight is really just going to be the requests that we've made already and providing statements based on what the agencies have said on the requests that we've made already. So this isn't necessarily a place for new goals. That's going to be in part of the narrative discussion, and those narrative discussions will help to inform, future actions of the committee. So every request that was in the budget requests, the explanation portion is going to be adapted into a statement based on the agency's response that our committee is working on. So just wanted you to know that this is not the space for new ideas. That's the narrative, and we can still have those conversations. But if there's anything specific you all need in terms of the statement, I'm here to listen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. So as Jessica just said, you're not focusing on your requests, you're focusing on your agency responses, because the submission is for the agency-specific responses for this committee, which will be DOT, FDNY, MTA, and the New York City Police Department. So I've made sure that you all have access to this draft document, which would be ideally be ready for the district meets committee next Wednesday. What you're tasked to do is, of course, review the responses that you received for your agencies. So, for example, let's see if we can find.
We have one on page 265. It's the first one. 311-2026-20C.
Right, so repair better lighting throughout East Harlem, repair or provide new streetlights. Agency supports and can accommodate, so suggest removing this request. DOT will evaluate this request to determine its feasibility and responses. Community board accordingly. The unit will inspect the area for feasible lighting additions. So that's not necessarily a negative response.
It's a positive response. However, we only had one example. And I don't want it to be where it's just that one example that gets the lights. That was my concern.
Sure, of course. You have here repair or construct sidewalks, curbs, and pedestrian ramps. Agency supports and can accommodate, so it suggests removing this request. Do the same and the same language. And then you have, of course, in the same Third Avenue redesign, there's slated to be a number of pedestrian ramp improvements. So that's, of course, considered in O&B and city planning's budget and their ideals. So, the task for this committee is to, and this is what was submitted last year, so you can use this as reference. You're basically supposed to summarize your needs and your goals that are relevant to this committee and respond to the mayor's current or the mayor's preliminary budget for fiscal year 2026, which you can, if you'd like, you can go on O&B publications and look at any of the documents, depending on how much time you have, but there is a summarized version that you can access and just, take a glance and determine, okay, well, the mayor has intensive, using a good amount of the budget for tourism, economic growth. You can comment on, things that are not necessarily relevant to this committee, but it's just, of course, you want to focus on, where you guys should have, influence in. So let's say, for example, let me see if I can find anything that's like, emergency services related, and maybe perhaps there isn't a focus on, enhancing,
Well, there's something with the
FDNY.
MTA.
Okay, so yeah, here you go, right? So MTA contributions of 241 million, you can highlight that, okay, well, MTA is receiving XYZ amount of funding, but we're seeing that fares are consistently increasing, and service in East Harlem, the stations in East Harlem are lacking, ADA accessibility, et cetera, so forth like that. So you can compile that into, this submission here, if possible, if you can, by the Wednesday. Right, so, yeah, so.
That's why we're looking at this.
Well, here's the thing, it could be a paragraph, it doesn't have to be excessively long, just as long as it's succinct, it's specific, it's direct.
I mean, we could have it like where we're glad that
So
the,
we talk about
Hold
the, MLK.
hold on a second. Yes, we're talking about the lighting, go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, I think lighting should be looked at all the underpath that we have. We have a lot of underpath from 115th, maybe 115th Street, all the way to almost 106, 104th, 103rd. So is that whole stretch underneath where the train is at. So all those underpaths are underlighted. So we need to really look at that area to light it up a little bit more, because we only talking about 1 or 2 spaces in that area. But I think we should look at more of where all the underpaths are at.
Okay.
Because it is very dangerous, starting from 110th Street, 111th Street,
I'm
112th.
sorry, you're talking about the, under the viaduct? The
That is
parking on the
correct.
viaduct?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
very unsafe.
yeah,
walking through
that's, we are waiting for, the MTA to finalize the work there, because they had removed some kind of electrical boxes that had to be replaced after they finish. So we are very aware that this is happening. So I just want you to know that. That's something that,
Thank you, Rafael.
right.
Thank you, appreciate it. But
Thank you.
to Carlos's point, then this committee can write under DOT that throughout East Harlem, and particularly under
Under the viaduct.
viaducts and other key locations that, you're seeing a lack of satisfactory light bulbs, lumens, et cetera, so forth like that, and imploring the mayor's office, city planning OMB, to consider increasing funding to the DOT specifically for better illumination in key points, especially where there's high crime, et cetera, so forth like that. So summarizing essentially what Carlos said and putting it into a couple of sentences that can help out. You can also submit concerns regarding FDNY if you have any, maybe you're seeing that there is, and I don't doubt this, I think that they actually do very well, good job of inspections, et cetera, so forth, but any other kind of concerns in terms of fleet vehicles in East Harlem being subpar compared to other sections in Manhattan, whatever you guys deem is,
Well, the FDNY had come to us with a particular problem, but I realized that we had put it under FDNY and it should have gone to a different agency. It should have gone to the DOT for lighting. Because they requested better lighting because their vehicles were being broken into.
So there you go.
And it was put to the wrong, it wasn't put directly to the correct stakeholder. And it was denied because that agency was like, no, this is a.
Right, and so, but your task is to either compile and fill in these segments here, or if you have no comment or anything to suggest, then that so be it, and we'll submit what we do have available, but I suggest not leaving old language in. It's just updating the language, especially for the tracking codes that you would want to reference in your summaries, okay? So that's basically your task for now, and make sure that you all have access to the, I'll pull it up on it now. Basically, it's in the board member drive.
Okay, I'm signing out. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
So you basically go to the Public Safety and Transportation Committee, board member drive. Budget and requests, statement of district needs, go to fiscal year 2026. This is where this agency specific draft, response document is. Don't focus on budget requests, don't follow that for right now. But you can look at the info statements of preliminary budget, or statement on the preliminary budget, to show you how to craft your response. So essentially, basically summarize your need statement. Do not include your budget requests, stress support for projects and programs recommended by the agency. So projects in terms of better lighting, et cetera, so forth like that. And you keep it simple, you can keep it brief. It doesn't have to be excessively long or terribly long if you don't want to. You can use the previous statement as reference if you'd like, but that's still in the draft document, so you have that there available for you, okay? That's it, that's your task.
So that is our homework.
Yes.
You wanna have it as homework, or you wanna do it right now?
Forward.
No, but I'm gonna trust y'all will actually do this. Am I getting nods from Carlos too?
No, I think we should,
Carlos, yeah?
Even if it's a couple of sentences, like with a couple.
yeah,
of
I think
sentences.
another area that we have not talked about, and you know that we're the largest when it comes to nature development.
That's housing.
That's housing, okay.
That's housing. You gonna.
No, I'm on.
Yeah, I mean,
Just that
you're
we went to
right.
lighting, but that's an area where,
But lighting, I think DOT does have jurisdiction with lighting. Do you mean inside nitro buildings?
inside or outside nature buildings. So
We don't have,
he's asking me a question.
Inside.
I'm answering.
Outside nitro buildings, yes, DOT can impact that. Inside nitro buildings, that's specifically.
Okay.
Nitro, yeah.
I'm talking about outside, because what happens is right now, they only put those floodlights when there's a emergency or there's a shootout or they're looking for somebody.
So the NYPD generator.
That is correct.
Yeah, so then,
And
that's NYPD specific. Okay, all right. So that still could be part of the transportation. Okay. Better lighting in general.
But better lighting when nature developments, all right.
Yes.
but we would add that to our paragraph. We wanna make. it
You said,
specific.
are we gonna wanna discuss it or we're going to digest it and talk about it at the next one?
No, we don't have a next one to talk about.
Yeah.
This is due Wednesday.
Yeah, this is kind of Wednesday. Yeah.
So that's why I was saying, because Pascal and Joel Jordan said we can have it as our homework to add into a paragraph. But we would have like a little bit of a running thing going, if you can put it into the Google Doc. Would you be willing to do that, Carlos?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or to send, if emailing it to us, hey, these are the notes I think.
Okay, I'll email it.
And I can add it to the document, no problem.
beautiful.
Okay, so this is the document that we're adding to that thing right there.
Yes, yes. You'd want to maybe update MTA if you'd like. Even in the same thing that Carl's talking about, MTA should focus on better placement of their bus stops that can accommodate senior citizens and other demographics and, the transportation needs. So this is all things that you can, consider and write in, right? Okay, so that's it from me on this point, Chair.
Homework? Definitely. And I've taken too many notes on my thing here, but I could just write the notes in. Okay, so let us continue on. Old business, proposed discovery form changes. We have our. Okay, the resolution can easily be moved to whichever way we vote on it. You've had ample time.
Thank you.
Does Christina have one?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mark? You need one? Eric? You need one? Okay, so the resolution regarding discovery reform recommendations. Y'all have had enough time to look at the footnotes. We went over it. Specifically in one whole meeting. We have a forum. We can have a motion. We don't need to discuss this anymore.
I'm sorry.
Then we have a motion. Yes,
Point of application.
yes,
So the agenda says committee to finalize a position,
correct.
but are you really saying we're gonna vote on this document in yea or nay?
The position of whether we vote yea or nay for the proposed discovery reform changes would be how this is used or changed. This can be either way. If we vote yes for the discovery recommendations, we would keep it as is. If we vote no for the discovery recommendations, then we would remove the part where it says that we would add the recommendations for the district attorneys. It's very simple. I mean, at this point, we have in Albany where a lot of funds are being made available to streamline discovery recommendations. I mean, to streamline the discovery so that there is no, okay, you have to ask for this. It's just NYPD information, FDNY, whatever first responders are just going straight to the attorney's office. Monies are being made available. How do we feel as a committee on what was proposed to us in April? Then again, later on with the Legal Aid Society and the District Attorney's Office, with the changes that have happened in Albany, and with the changes that have happened in Archbishop. How do we feel about this? Keeping our constituents in mind, and this will be going towards not just East Harlem, but our voice will be heard across the nation. However big or small our voice is.
If I may, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to let you all know that this is Kali Conliffe from Legal Aid. I met you the last time I was here, and I'm here if you have any specific questions.
Callie, sorry about that. We need you to be recognized first. We didn't know who you were, so sorry about that. Can you just,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm used to being in different kinds of Zoom rooms. I apologize. I'm Kali Conliffe. I'm an attorney with the Legal Aid Society. I spoke to you all about, I think 2 or 3 months ago, about this issue. I'm sorry, I'm losing track of time because I talk about this all day, every day. But you know, we formed an alliance with a bunch once the governor issued her budget, which was way more serious and severe than we thought it was going to be in terms of the effects that we thought this was going to have on this really important law. When I talked to you all the last time, we had not seen the actual proposal. The budget language had never been shared with defenders. It was basically written by prosecutors and only seen by prosecutors before the governor adopted it. And lawmakers are asking really serious questions. In fact, today was the public protection hearing in the legislature. And, you know, is a lot in here that we didn't even have a chance to present to you on because we didn't have the information about what they were actually trying to do. And I just want to say that this is a really, really severe, what amounts to a repeal of Khalif's law. And I, as somebody who represents people charged with crimes, I'm really terrified that we're going to go back to a time when people like Khalif Browder sat in jail for 3.5 years. I mean, I live in Harlem. I was a public defender in the Bronx for the first 10 years of my career when Khalif Browder was actually incarcerated there and in court there. And I can tell you that, like, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just want you to understand that what they've done in this proposal has basically, in a very tricky way, repealed all of the protections that were built into the original reform to protect people like Khalif. So that's, I just wanted to put that out there and invite any questions that you might have.
I actually have a question. I'm unable to understand because of something that you're talking about. A bailout. Bail reform is different than discovery reform, because Khalif's law was for bail reform.
So, yeah, I'm happy to address that. I'm sorry. So, Khalif's law actually was a lot of people used his name actually to talk about bail reform as well. But in fact, the law that was originally named Khalif's law before it was put into the budget in 2019 was the law that sort of combines speedy trial with discovery. Because the reason that Khalif Browder spent 3.5 years in jail, beyond the fact that he had bail set on him that he could not afford, was that the case dragged on and on and on because the prosecutors misrepresented that they were ready for trial early in the case before they had shared evidence with him. And then his attorney knew nothing essentially about the case. They stated ready for trial. And because of the incredibly frustrating way that New York City, or New York State rather, speedy trial rules work, it then got adjourned on every single occasion that he came to court because the prosecutor stated not ready, but that lack of readiness for trial was excused because of the way our rules work. So the reason it was so crucial it's so crucial not to separate out speedy trial from discovery is because it actually requires prosecutors to look at all their evidence and gather it all and give it all to the defense before they can say, I'm ready to go to trial. And that's why this was called Khalif's Law.
So let me just read what y'all wrote.
Yeah.
Which is one of our footnotes, to put it on record here. The landmark reform is named in honor of Khalif Browder, a 16-year-old from the Bronx who was wrongfully accused of stealing a backpack in 2010. The languished on Rikers Island for 3 years awaiting trial. He had no access to the government's evidence in his case, and his family could not afford to pay the $3,000 bail set by a Bronx judge. After his release from Rikers Island, Khalif continued to face emotional and psychological challenges and died by taking his life in 2015 at the age of 22. Since 2020, this law has played a crucial role in helping to prevent wrongful convictions, reduce unjust pretrial incarceration, ensure transparency in the criminal legal system, reveal patterns of police misconduct, and advance due process. The law has also been tremendously successful in resolving cases more quickly and combating court delays. However, this was under bail reform. There's a lot of information again that came out, as she just said today. We are hesitating. I asked for a motion and no one said anything. Do we just want to just not say anything? Is that what's going on? Go ahead. I mean, we don't have to take a position.
I, guys,
Yes, Pascal.
just because I think this is like the third meeting we've had and it's been like new information. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a position on something that's currently being worked on.
I didn't go to this thing today. I
Yeah.
honestly don't know what's in. I don't know the material. that
Yeah,
you're talking about
and I
today.
think because we don't know what exactly is going on, how can we really make an informed decision on where to stand? And it's very confusing. My stance just changed now that I heard that because of, I don't know. It's a complete opposite from the presentation we had with both them and Danny in December. Where it was like, everyone agreed, nothing's gonna change, like this doesn't change the law now.
And now everything's
Yeah,
changing.
So I would say I wouldn't take a position. I don't think the committee should take a position, but it's up to everyone.
I honestly did not know that they had met today. I know things were happening, but not so quickly. Take care, Eric. Bye-bye. Yes.
Callie,
Yes.
can you get us the new information so that it can help us make an informed decision?
Although we should
Absolutely.
just go on
And-
and get the information ourselves. We should just look at the logs.
Yeah,
from.
and I can send you, would it be helpful? I sent in the chat, I sent the New York Focus just published a really long article that explains the debate and explains the proposals. I can also put in the chat a link to the actual the governor's actual proposal, the one that's published on her website. And there, it's been all over the press that the New York City DAs, including Danny, are supporting that proposal. So they are 100% behind it, and that is what they are asking you to, I believe. I mean, I haven't been able to read the document that you all were asked to consider, but my understanding, if I'm reading it correctly as we sit here, is that they're essentially saying, they want you to support Manhattan DA's recommendations for change. And given that they are in lockstep with the governor, I assume that that's what they're asking you to do. So that is what concerns me. I think, I'm so grateful to you all for hearing me out and for giving us the space to tell you about this.
Okay, appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure that, because Danny isn't here to tell us their side of what's happening. And on base of the whirlwind of information that seems to be happening, we are going to be tabling this so that we can take a look at it with our own eyes. And usually they have some sort of video accompanying it so that we can look at it without a wave perspective. I think that's really important. So we are going to table this. Callie, I appreciate you being here and giving this information because this is vital. And we will, yes, Pascal.
I just had a question. I know last time we spoke about this, I think we're supposed to take a position or just choose not to this meeting.
No. This is too important. This is too important. You need to get this new information.
Xavier has his hand raised too, just FYI.
Okay, and let me just get to Joel Jones and then Xavier. Is that Xavier, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jewel.
Thank you. So just to, put it out there, I actually, formed the decision way back when, and it was no, I didn't support the changes. I have the new information, I printed, I keep it on top of all this, I still have not changed. So my position, I support the Legal Aid Society, I support, Browder and all of that. So, put out there, so we.
And you said you have the new.
Oh, yeah,
information there?
yeah.
So we can like take a copy of that, you know, you can send it to us. Oh, you scribble, okay, fine, okay, Xavier. You have the.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here and the collegiality and making informed steps. To answer some of the clarifying questions we have at times when taking positions of great import, paused when new information has been presented to us. This is no different, and I just put in the chat so Khalid has it and can print it up for you, or email it to you, the actual legislation. I'm trying to review it. I think tabling in this instance would be the right thing to do and to discuss it. Just like we've done in the past, whether it's been the 2017 rezoning or other important issues. So diving in and having all sides, speak to it effectively. So I applaud everyone's work. I know putting a resolution, having done many in the past, is a gargantuan lift. So to the committee and everyone involved, to the leadership, Michelle, and thank you for your service, each and every one of you. I value you greatly. So thank you.
Thank you. So do we have to vote on pausing or?
You can just table the item.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't expect that. That was a complete change.
It seems ever evolving.
Okay, new business. I am not trying to give myself or more work to do. However, the coffee with the topic was really, really well done. And I think that it would be in our best interest to get the 2-3 to either do something similar or just to have like a breakfast or something where we just all get to know all of them in one room. Think about it.
Second.
Well, I agree with you. I think that we should have all of our services in one room, including the other precincts as well as the fire department.
And
We have a lot of concerns, but then, of course, Department of Transportation as well as MTA. So.
And PSA 5.
I think it's important that if we're gonna do one, we should do something that's gonna encompass all people that all provide services.
Like I said, not to give us more work.
But I think this is a good gesture that, if somebody else did it, I think, it helps when we could all be a part of something different, but almost the same thing, which is, community involvement, because we don't have enough of that. We need to have more of that.
Yes.
So to piggyback off of him,
Okay.
instead of having them do their little thing, right? Why don't we have a meet and greet with some coffee and donuts or something and have them come in and meet the board? Bring them to us.
That's why I'm saying not to give us more work, but thank you for putting it out there. You said, you just took the words out.
All right, give me a date and I will go see 23 and PSA 5.
Beautiful. Okay, so that was short new business. Do we have any other new business? Silent? Oh, Khalid, is there anyone online saying for new business?
Nobody saying anything.
Beautiful, so at 8:59.
Do you want to do roll call?
Thank you for everyone that's still online and thank you for everyone here being in person. There's 3 more little chocolates of heroes here.
All right, let's get something here. Carlos Diaz.
Present.
Pascal Heno.
Present.
Want to have excuse Christina Johnson.
Present.
Jewel Jones.
Present.
Absent. Valerie Ponte.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Michelle Osari Clement.
Present.
That's it.
That's it. Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Adjourned.
Thank you.
You're not cut off from